Hello ladies and gentlemen, in this video we are going to see about emergency powers of president. So in this video we are going to see about powers of president with respect to the emergency. Okay. So first the emergency was classified into three types. First one is national emergency, second one is a state emergency, and third one is a financial emergency. So we are going to see it one by one, and what are all the powers of a president with respect to these emergencies. So first one is a national emergency, which was declared on the basis of Article 352. So it was declared on the grounds of war. If there is any war between our country with our enemy country, and if any country comes to attack our country, so it was a war. Okay, if the country was involved in a war, national emergency can be declared. Next one is external aggression. External aggression is nothing but another country was comes to occupy our place by using a force. That is what is known as external aggression. By using a force, another country comes to occupy our places. So it can be declared during an external aggression. Next one is armed rebellion. So armed rebellion is nothing but it was not external aggression or a war, but using some forces, like using some weapons. People, an anti-nationalist, fight against constitution, fight against government, fight against well-being of a people. So any disturbances by using arms like weapons within the country, not by means of external rebellion, within a country it occurs. So national emergency can be declared on the basis of a war, external aggression, and armed rebellion. Before armed rebellion, there is a statement called internal disturbances. Internal disturbance. But during 44th Constitutional Amendment Act, by means of the 44th Constitutional Amendment Act, this internal disturbance was replaced by the term called armed rebellion. So disturbance by using arms, by using weapons, on the basis of using of weapons only, and a national emergency can be declared, not by means of any other internal disturbances. Weapon should be used, arms should be used, force should be used for declare a national emergency on the basis of this third term, which is nothing but armed rebellion. Internal disturbance was replaced by the armed rebellion by 44th Constitutional Amendment Act 1978. Okay. And the president can declare even before the occurrence of a occurrence. So president can declare even before the occurrence of a war. If he was satisfied that the war is going to be happen, if he was satisfied that the external aggression, external threat is there, then armed rebellion is going to happen. So before the happening of the event, he can declare a emergency if he was satisfied that the condition is going to be worse. And the different proclamation can be issued. Different proclamation can be issued. What is the meaning of is that not only single proclamation. Take for example, if the national emergency was declared on any particular part of India only, not the whole of India, if it was declared on any particular part of India, again the president can give a proclamation declaring an extent of an area, or a national emergency can be declared on a whole country. The president can also give some other proclamation relating to the national emergency. There is no limit for giving a number of a proclamation on the part of a president. So it was a infinite one. So this infinite proclamation was this power was given by 38th Constitutional Amendment Act 1975. So 38th Constitutional Amendment Act 1975 gives a power of infinite proclamation term to the president. So okay. War and external aggression. So these were the three grounds for which the national emergency can be declared. Here, war and external aggression is known as a external emergency. Armed rebellion is known as a internal emergency because armed rebellion was happening within the country by anti-nationalist forces or some terrorist forces within the country which disturbs the peace of a people, which disturbs the daily functioning of a government. So for the purpose, armed rebellion is a internal emergency. It is not by means of an external force. Next, 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act limit the proclamation to the particular party. So, okay. So, 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act 1976 give a power to the president that he can declare a proclamation on any particular part, not even a whole of a country. The national emergency can be, proclamation can be declared on any particular part, any particular state or any particular region. Also, a national emergency can be declared. So, it applies to that particular area only. So, this power was given to the president by a 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act, which limits the proclamation to any particular part of India. So, written recommendation from a cabinet. So, for declaring a national emergency by a president, he must need to get a written declaration from a cabinet, which is nothing but a group of a minister, a group of important ministers known as a cabinet. He must need to get president must need to get a written declaration. So, why this part, why this term was included is that a prime minister to reduce extraordinary, to reduce arbitrary power of a prime minister. A prime minister alone cannot be able to declare a national emergency, but a cabinet along with the prime minister need to give a written recommendation to the president to declare a national emergency. So, to reduce the arbitrary power of a prime minister, this term was included. So, now written recommendation from a cabinet along with the prime minister was required for a declaration of a national emergency. A written recommendation must need to give submit to the president. So, this term was included by a 44th Constitutional Amendment Act 1978. Proclamation can be challenged in the court. Okay, so proclamation, this national emergency proclamation can be challenged in the court. Must be approved by the both the houses. So, both the houses, we know the both the houses of a parliament, which is nothing but a Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. So, both the houses must need to approve these proclamation within 1 month, within a period of 1 month. So, if Lok Sabha was dissolved within this 1 month, take for example, this is just an example. If emergency was declared, emergency proclamation was declared on some August 31. If emergency proclamation was declared on, take for example, September 5. Okay. So, the parliament has a time till 30 days or 1 month, which is nothing but October 5. Within this date, a parliament must need to give a approval. So, 1 month, 30 days time is there. 1 month time period is there for give a approval to the proclamation by a parliament. If within this 1 month, if within this 1 month, if Lok Sabha was dissolved, then after the formation of the Lok Sabha, if Lok Sabha was dissolved on, take for example, September 15, Lok Sabha was dissolved on September 15. So, Lok Sabha was again, election must need to be done, right? Reformation of a Lok Sabha needs an election must need to be done, and all the process was getting over by means of some October 20. So, the Lok Sabha was again formed on October 20. From this October 20, 1 month is available, which means November 20. So, within this 1 month, Lok Sabha need to give a approval. Okay, but Rajya Sabha cannot be dissolved. So, Rajya Sabha can give a approval within this 1 month, before 1 month period. Okay, within this September 5 and the October 5, Rajya Sabha can give its approval, or within from September 5 to November 20. Time period is available for Rajya Sabha for September 5 to November 20. Within this period, Rajya Sabha can give its approval But reformed Lok Sabha, if Lok Sabha was reformed on October 20, 1 month time period is available for a Lok Sabha to give its approval, which is nothing but within November 20 must need to give its approval. So 1 month time period is available for a Lok Sabha after its reformation. And for Rajya Sabha within time period, okay, within that time period, because Rajya Sabha cannot be dissolved, so it can give a within such a time period to give its approval. Okay. So generally, if the Lok Sabha was not dissolved, 1 month time period is available for give a approval to both the houses of a parliament. Next, 6 month once approval needed. So for the continuation of this national emergency, 6 month once approval must need to be given by a parliament 6 month once. Okay. This provision was added by the 44th Constitutional Amendment Act 1978. Before that, once the emergency was declared, it can continue for a number of years, but 6 month once approval was provided by this 44th Constitutional Amendment Act 1978. By means of a special majority, we have already seen about what is meant by special majority in a previous video. Special majority is nothing but a majority of a total membership of a house and a 2/3 of a majority of a members present and voting. That is what is known as a special majority. So by means of a special majority, okay, these approval must need to be by means of a special majority. This provision was also added by the 44th Constitutional Amendment Act 1978. President can issue directions and instructions to any state. So once the emergency was declared, what happens is that President can give direction or instruction to the states regarding the executive powers for in the manner how the executive powers need to be done, what is the manner of execution of powers. All these instructions can be provided by the president to the states, and it empowers the rearrangement of a distribution of a revenue. So revenues, all the taxes of the government, okay, not all the taxes of a union government need to be shared between the union government and the state government. So for that purpose, a finance commission need to be formed. Once the emergency was declared, what happened is that president can issue a direction on a distribution of these revenue between a union government and a state government. This is what is known as a distribution of revenues. Fundamental rights will be reasonably restricted. So fundamental rights like freedom of a movement, freedom of forming association. So these fundamental rights can be restricted. Reasonable restricted is that reasonable restricted can be done on these fundamental rights, and parliament life can be extended by 1 year. So parliament life, usually the parliament has parliament in the sense Lok Sabha has a lifetime of life. The term of a Lok Sabha ministry of a member of a parliament is 5 years. Okay, once in 5 years election will be done. If the emergency was declared, a term of a Lok Sabha can be increased by another 1 year, which is nothing but a 6 year. 5 plus 1, 6. 5 plus 1, 6 years. Okay. So these are all the national emergency and the power of a president with respect to the national emergency. Next, what we are going to see about is a state emergency. State emergency can be declared on the grounds of Article 356 and Article 365. So state emergency is also known as a president rule or constitutional emergency. Okay, so we can say state emergency either as a president rule or a constitutional emergency or a state emergency. So state emergency can be declared on two grounds. One is a failure of a constitutional machinery in a state. A state have a constitutional instruction, right? Our constitution provided direction to the union government, state government, every organization of a government, rules and regulations, direction was provided by a constitution which has a very high power, very high sovereign power. So constitution has a power, and the state government must need to execute its power, execute its function, rule the state according to the terms that also provided by a constitution. If the state governments does not follow the such a instruction of a constitution, such a instruction from a constitution, if the state government does not follow such rules and regulations according to the constitution, what happens is that it is a failure of a constitutional machinery. Okay, take for example fundamental rights, safeguarding fundamental rights, and fundamental rights is a part of a constitution, right? If the state government, if a particular state government does not follow the fundamental rights, does not give the fundamental right, or it abstract, or it cuts down the fundamental rights of a people, what happens is that there is a failure of a constitutional machinery in the state. So on the grounds of failure of a constitutional machinery in the state, and state emergency can be declared. Second one is there a failure to comply with the or give effect to the direction given by the union. Second ground is that if any union government is giving any direction to the state government to execute something, okay, relating to the executive direction, and the state government must need to obey the direction according to the constitution. Okay, state government needs to obey the direction given by the union executive. If the state government does not obey the constitutional direction, if the state government does not obey the constitutional direction, what happens is that emergency can be declared according to that ground. Okay, failure to comply with or give effect to the direction given by the union. Okay, either on the report received from the governance or otherwise. A president can declare a state emergency by means of either a report from a such state governor or by means of other satisfaction. Okay, if the president was satisfied that a state emergency can be declared on any particular state, he can give he can declare a state emergency. Parliamentary approval within 2 months. Okay, parliamentary approval within 2 months. So once a state emergency was declared, it need to have a parliamentary approval within 2 months of such a declaration, and the approval needed for every 6 months. So an approval needed for every 6 months, there need to be a approval given by the parliament. So maximum the state emergency can be continued for 3 years. Okay. President dismisses the state council of a minister headed by a CM. So whenever the state emergency was declared, president will suspend the council of a minister, state council of a minister. If any state emergency was declared by the president on any particular state, a council of a minister of such a state was dismissed by the president, and either suspends or dissolve the assembly. So he can also either suspend for a particular period. President can suspend the assembly or completely dissolve the state legislative assembly. Okay, so this was done by a president. A governor with the help of a chief secretary will do the administration. So the administration was carried out by a governor on the behalf of president. Okay, with the help of a chief secretary of a particular state, who is the highermost IAS officer of a particular state. Okay, financial emergency. So third one is a financial emergency which was declared on the grounds of Article 360. So if the president was satisfied that the finance of a country, okay, if the president was satisfied that the finance of a country was going to be threatened, okay, on such a ground, financial emergency can be declared by the president. Okay, the financial emergency need approval within 2 months from a parliament, and continues for an indefinite period. Okay, it continues for any number of a period once the approval was given. An initial approval is a required one. Okay, further approval was not needed, and it can be continue for an indefinite period. President can give direction to the state to observe the canons of a financial property. He can give a direction to the reduce salary. Okay, the president can give a direction regarding to the finance matters. Okay, regarding to the finance matter to the state. He can also ask the state to reduce the salary of a government employees serving under a union or a state, and also can ask to reduce the salary of judges of the Supreme Court and a High Court. All money and financial bill of a states will be reserved for a president's consideration. So, a financial bill passed by the state government or state legislature, a money bill passed by a state legislative assembly or state legislature can be reserved for president's consideration. It was a must one during a financial emergency. Financial emergency has not been declared so far in our country. So in our country so far, financial emergency was not yet declared. Okay, so this is what the three types of emergency and the power of a president with respect to such an emergency. Okay, thank you.